Hi everyone. I want to do this one on peak state because it's the one that's been kind of resonating in my mind over the last hour or so. I've got so much subject matter to share with you. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to end. But the order in which I've listed it listed it on YouTube channel is probably the order that you want to follow it. Okay, so to get back to my point, peak state. Peak state can be known as flow. You know, that feeling where anything that you're doing started off, the process of it started off very, very difficult. So think of the example of going on a date. The first date you're on is a little awkward. You're trying to feel the other person out. They're trying to get a sense for you. There's trust and rapport that needs to be established. But then you potentially get to the next stage, the next date. If it works, if you're confident in yourself, there's a flow. It's not a system for you. It's not a question of, am I doing it right? Am I saying the right thing? You're not going home with those thoughts anymore. You know that the way you are is the way you have confidence and trust in the way you are, and you like the other person. And then when you're together, there's a quiet flow to it, and that's what I mean by peak state. You get to that place where it's effortless. Now in sport, they call that they call it peak state and they call it flow. You see that with runners. You see it with any endurance athletes or even ball sport athletes. That Michael Jordan. You look at football players, just like a Tom Brady, just effortlessly in the moment, just not thinking about the next thing, not thinking about how to do it. You know, the consequences of doing it. If and but. They're not looking backward, they're not looking forward, they're in the moment. So the takeaway from this as a leader is, how can you get people to take all this left brain information and make it a right brain process where they trust, their inner resources are so vast that their mind's eye, their right brain, trusts it. They trust all the information, they believe in themselves, and they just simply do it, and that's a beautiful feeling. And you notice it in love, you notice it in sport. So be mindful, be aware that of these examples. Anytime you see someone speaking, talking to you, acting, actors, great example of flow. You just see some that it's like, how do they become that character? It's mind blowing because the dialogue that you have to memorize, and then the feeling that you have and the connection to the person, and especially historical figures when they don't have anybody to learn through directly. So think about that and see how it applies to your leadership style in your life.